Well, everybody thought there would be no alt season, no bull run, but maybe we're about to get one. Whilst everybody was saying, oh no, we're gonna go below 1,000, there's gonna be no alt season, there's gonna be nothing. I was there buying Ethereum at 1,500, 1,800, 2,000. And as you can see in my account right here, I have bought over $135,000 worth of Ethereum, which at the moment is making me over $30,000. 24,000 unrealized P&L, which means I still haven't closed it, and 7,000 profit that I've closed. Not only that, but I also have a leverage position right here where I've already closed $3,000 worth of profit, and I have another 5,000 which is still open. You can see my entry, I entered at 2,200, and I've held until now where we're at 3,400. And my position is, as you can see, I've done a 500% with obviously 10x leverage. But yeah, this is great. And now I want to show you a little bit more of what I think is happening next. First of all, disclaimer, I really don't care whether we're going to see an alt season or not. I'm going to keep trading whatever happens, and I'm most likely going to make money either way. But if you're one of those people that is holding and just hoping to hold and make money off of it, first of all, I wouldn't recommend, but it's your choice. Second of all, let's see what we can expect. Let's always start with the Ethereum BTC graph, which I've talked about so many times. So what I was telling you was that do not expect an alt season until we keep this market structure of just a downtrend where you have lower highs and lower lows. But guess what? Finally here, we're starting to see some strength. Look at this, right here. We're finally starting to see a change in the market structure and the reclaim of certain important levels that I was talking about, which is the monthly right here. We had an amazing flip finally. And also look at this. We finally put a high, a higher low, and a higher high. What I've talked about before is that what I really want to see for a big pump is this area right here to be reclaimed. We reclaim this, I really think there's a really high chance that we can see an actual alt season where shit is going to be pumping 50%, 60%, maybe even in a day. But all across the board. So all these coins you're seeing here, maybe we'll see AVAX at 100, SUI at $7, $8, Ethereum at 6,000, Solana at 400. I'm talking about these kind of prices. And the reason is, once we reclaim these levels, our target is going to be up here. That's going to be Ethereum moving a 70% more compared to Bitcoin. Just to give you some perspective, just moving from here to here, which was a 10%, we saw Ethereum go from like 2,800 to 3,400 overnight. And a lot of these tokens have pumped a lot. So now take this, compare it to what we're expecting. And I mean, you can understand that if we get this, all of these are going to be pumping hard. So yeah, hopefully this happens. That would be great. But anyways, now let's focus on actual Ethereum. So as you know, my biggest trade now, where I'm making more than $40,000, has been from 2,180. The thing is, now we've come into a quite important resistance, where I think it's possible to see a rejection. But obviously, I'm not gonna short right now because it's dumb. Why would I ever short all of this? I want to see some weakness. And where is this weakness? Well, first of all, I want to see this level being lost. Look how important this level was. It's where most volume was traded, and look what we did. We broke past it with no issue, we back tested it, and we kept rising. So really, until we lose this, I'm not even looking for a short. If we start seeing the loss of this level, a raise back, putting the lower high, and then we break these lows right here, then I'll take the short, no problem. And I'll probably take a good amount of profit on my longs. And then, you have the stop loss, you have your entry here, and we can target lower prices. Obviously, this is not going to result into a great short trade because we're probably going to have a late entry. But again, shorting here, I think will only result into losing money. The other thing is, sure, you can take more risk. You can put your stop loss here. You're more likely to get stopped out. And then obviously you have a higher risk to reward. This can also be a good trade, but obviously you're taking more risk, which personally I'm not going to do. So as I said, the first possible short can be on the loss of this level, stop loss above the high, if that will be it. And we can target what, in my opinion, should be a really good long and should not be lost if we want to see a good run on Ethereum. Actually seeing this back tested would be amazing. Because my next long comes right here at 2,800. Let me just show you. This has been one of the biggest demand and supply zones for Ethereum, so support and resistances. And now that we broke past it so well, it would be really nice to see a retrace, get everybody bearish, and then take the long here to then bring it up to 4,000, because this is honestly the next target. However, if we reclaim this level, I don't really expect this to get any retracements, or at least deep retracements such as this one. I would honestly just expect it to go towards 4,000 directly. There is one level that I'm keeping in mind, which is 3,600. So right here. And that's because I think here nobody really would expect it to reject. So it would be great to, obviously I'm taking all these trades only on reactions. Again, if we see no reaction here, I'm not taking a long trade. If I don't get this setup here, I'm not taking the short trade. And here, if we blast through, I'm not going to take any shorts. Anyways, an epic setup would be if we can reclaim this level, go to 3,600. Based on the reaction, let's say we see weakness, we take our short trade, because everybody here is going to be getting bullish. Everybody at 3,600 is going to think, oh, we're going for sure to all-time high, which is above 4,000. So if we see this bearish reaction here, would really be great to see a massive drop back to 2,800. We lose 3,000. Everybody now gets bearish. Everybody starts selling. And that hopefully is where we hold this important level, get into our long trade, and pump it all the way back up to a new high above 4,000. The reason also why I like this is because if we see this breakout right here, right, we were in this range. One thing we can look at is the one-to-one extension, which means basically the same length of this wave. We can see it in this up wave. And this is how you do it. So we take the low, we take the high right here, and then we take the low. And look at this, the one-to-one extension gets exactly at this level that I was speaking about. So at 3,600. So that's why I'm also really liking it. And another reason why I really like this area is because look at this, we have the Fibonacci retracement here. We bounced exactly on the 50%. Guess what? If we take our Fibonacci and let's assume that this is the scenario that happens, and so we reach about this level, and so we reject at 3,600, look where the next 50% is going to be, which, by the way, adds confluence. We have the supply and demand, we have the 50% from this low, we have the value area high. So I really think this would be crazy. And sorry if some of you cannot follow, this is quite confusing. But another crazy coincidence is, let's say that we put in the high, just I would say like a little bit above here, perhaps we go get this liquidity. So let's assume we put our high around 3,800. Then we would have this low. We would have the high at 3,800 above this previous high. And then we get the retracement just here. And look where our one-to-one is going to be now. So I think that would be another really good confluence. And then we can target the new all-time high towards 4,600. I think, honestly, if this plays out, it would be really, really insane. So yeah, this is really what I would like to see. This would actually be crazy. Again, I'm not so interested in taking this short. This would just be epic if it does play. But I'm really interested in this long. I think this long can really print if it happens. Anyways, I'm staying in my long trade, so even if this doesn't happen, for me, honestly, we can pump from here to 6,000. That would be the best scenario for me. I'd rather not get into a short at all and just have this huge pump. But, you know, this is not how it typically works. We do have retracements, heavy retracements as well. You know, when something goes up really fast, it also can go down really fast. So I think this can be in play, but we'll see. Then another thing I wanted to show you was AVAX. This honestly was amazing. Look at this. I told you, flip this red line right here. Let's go to above 22. This is where we are now. Now I am looking for the short trade. Also, it would line up with the whole theory of Ethereum getting a retracement at 3,600 to 3,800, because obviously if Ethereum retraces, we can see a big dump on altcoins. So I wouldn't mind getting into this short trade if we get the opportunity. Again, I want to see a move above this anchor VWAP. I want to see a loss of the weekly, and then we can go down. Then last thing I wanted to show you, Solana. I was talking about this target of 175. We finally got it. Next move for me on Solana is 200. Not really interested in 20 shorts, Possibly a short here, but I would have to see. But for now, long and chill. I have $50,000 in spot. I have a leverage position that I bought here. I have a leverage position that I bought here. Keep it pumping, to be honest. And then last thing, hype. I did tell you that you could have shorted this weakness right here. So technically you could have a short trade right now. And then I told you that a long trade, a nice long trade, next long trade, would be to go below the all-time high. So right here, go below here. Everybody's going to get bearish. Everybody's going to short. Boom. We take the long right here and we target new all-time highs. Because also $50 here has not been taken out. So typically these big psychological numbers like $50, $100, $10, $1,000 or whatever, they tend to be taken out and we really front run it. So I do expect hype to make another move up. I'm not really going to cover Bitcoin because it has been amazing and there's not really any need. And yeah, see you next time.